Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio. It is Friday morning, thank God, and thank God Team USA figured it out, especially Mr. Curry and KD, Team USA basketball. That was an incredible comeback. I got to see it. You get to watch it?
I did.
What'd you think?
I don't know how they did it.
Magic, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's not so much that as it is. I think what they did was get together with about 6 minutes to go in the game. First of all, Mike, they're down and out. I had the obituary written for them already, going for the bronze, unacceptable. And all of a sudden, they weren't out of it. I think they got together and said, hey, guys, we're the best in the world. And we're on the verge of getting our behinds handed to us by these people. Let's go. And they did put it together. In the final 5 minutes of the game, they went on a 24-8 run, 24-8. Serbia is playing great. Serbia had a wonderful game plan, and they have good athletes. They're good players. They hit everything in sight. But somehow the USA won that thing 95-91, get to play for the gold, and we'll talk about France in just a minute, but I'll give my hats off to the Serbians. They were terrific basketball players. Jokic, well, you knew he was going to be hard to handle, but these other guys, and Bogdanovic, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA. He's hitting, he hit everything. Everything he threw at the basket went in. The other players, many of whom are not NBA, but they play in the European leagues, had their game plan down. They were celebrating, carrying on, and ready to play for the gold medal. And then all of a sudden, the best in the world got to them. Now there was an article that came out yesterday that said, "Get used to it, folks, because that's the reality of the world now." I'm going to debate that a little bit, but nonetheless, it was a hell of a comeback.
Hell yeah, and I know how you feel about KD being probably one of the best. And after yesterday, man, that guy, one of the smoothest basketball players I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable.
He's one of the best three in the world.
In my opinion. I agree with you 100% about that. So that means Team USA against France for the gold, right?
And the crowd will be boisterous.
Oh, man.
It'll be about 99, if not 100% for France. That's where they're playing, obviously. And the French team, they're very good, folks. They beat Canada in the knockout round, and Canada was a team I had figured and penciled in to play for the gold medal. The Canadian team's all 11 NBA players. Now, the French team also has mostly NBA players. Victor Wembanyama, the 7'4" NBA Rookie of the Year last year. They have Rudy Gobert, who is, Mr. Defense, a several-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have Nicholas Batum, former 76ers players with the Clippers. They just have many of them. And their big win over Canada was impressive, 82-73. Are they as good as Serbia? Probably not quite as strong. Serbia is very strong and very tough on the boards. So is France, and France has good shooters. Are they as overall good? I don't know. Is that to say the USA is going to win? Hey, that'll be a major home court advantage for France.
Oh, it will be. But again, I think maybe yesterday we had the finals before the finals, in my opinion.
We'll see.
Something that was heartbreaking for me, though, the women's water polo lose into Australia. That was a heartbreaker.
Had them won. They had that game won, and they didn't. But there was a corollary to that, and that's USA women's volleyball. They played Brazil, and Brazil's the world champs. Two Olympiads in a row now. Brazil is going in looking for the gold, and 2 Olympiads in a row. Team USA has beaten them. So they will go, they being USA, will go for the gold. Too bad about the water polo team because they did play very, very hard. Noah Lyles, there's a real sad story. He's looking for the gold in the 200-meter. That's his specialty, and he wins the bronze suffering from COVID. He had been diagnosed with COVID. He said, I'm going out there and run anyway. He did, and does get the third place, winning the bronze. Sydney McLaughlin-Laverne, the gold in the 400 meters. Grant Holloway, the 110-meter hurdles gold medal. USA has 30 gold. That's 1 ahead of China, but I think you're going to see a few more of those golds come into play today and this weekend.
It's too bad the Team USA basketball doesn't count for more than just one. The Cardinals still in a series with the Rays. pretty dominant in the first 2 games. What about game 3?
Not so much so last night. Tampa Bay comes from behind and wins the game by a score of 6-4, scoring a couple of runs late in the game and picking on the St. Louis bullpen, which is used in virtually, if not literally, every single game. The Gibson kid, Kyle Gibson from the University of Missouri, didn't pitch too badly last night, but they took him out in the 6th inning, and here comes the relief roll in there, and Tampa Bay picked on them. Anyway, it's the Rays 6 and the Cardinals 4, and we'll see what happens now this weekend, which is a very interesting one coming up.
And speaking of that, tonight kicks off another part of the I-70 series between Kansas City and St. Louis. Remember, if you don't have any kind of crazy streaming services or Bally Sports or Ballyhoo or Hulu or Fubu or whatever you want to make up, our sister station, 105.1 The Bull, carries it on the radio, and it's always great to listen to.
And you might do that anyway and watch the game if you have the ability to watch it. It's the Royals and the Cardinals, and this is the 3rd in a 4-game series. Wait a minute. Now, the weekend is 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Folks, there is no game on Sunday. This is unconscionable, but that's the way the computer figured the schedule. 2 games, we'll play them in 3 days and give the teams a day off on Sunday, which is normally a day of celebration for baseball, but nonetheless, they'll play tonight and then again tomorrow. Now, the Springfield Cardinals did play last night, fell to the San Antonio Missions 4-1. Tink Hence back on the hill after a month on the sidelines because of back problems. He pitched a little over 3 innings and gave up 1 hit and 2 runs, and San Antonio goes on to win the game 4-1. But at least having Hence back there is certainly very good news for the Springfield Cardinals and for the Cardinals organization, because he is fingered in as going to be one of the top pitchers in their rotation before too much longer.
Yeah, I have a feeling that too, my friend. So I've got my red on because, of course, today is the first Red Friday of the preseason. Chiefs are in Florida tomorrow to take on the Jaguars.
They are indeed at Everbank Stadium. That's what they call the old Gator Bowl now, Everbank Stadium. Anyway, it's where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. And interestingly enough, this is fallacy, folks. For those of you who might put a few chocolate chips on the game, don't in exhibition games.
Don't in the preseason, man. What are you thinking? If you got to use that for a reason to gamble, you might want to call a 1-800 number.
If you are using that, you've got, number one, much, much more money to spend than you need to have.
Yeah.
Or number 2, you have lost. Don't do it, folks. Not an exhibition game. Jacksonville, a 2.5-point favorite. They put a line on this game. Of course, they do all of them.
It's an
but
event.
The fact of the matter remains that this is exhibition. You never know what's going to happen. But what's not an exhibition is the fact that our broadcast is right here on the Cave. Ned Talk, the Chiefs pregame show, begins at 4 tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock, which I hope we'll see the USA going for the gold medal about that time. But nonetheless, we'll be on the radio with the Chiefs pregame at 4. The Chiefs broadcast itself starts at 5, and then the game begins at 6. So
and
it'll be busy.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, we got the I-70 series tonight starting off. We got all kinds of great Olympics. One more weekend of that before it's done. And then, of course, Chiefs football starts up tomorrow night with you guys starting at 4. And according to Coach Reed, every quarterback's getting a quarter. We'll see if that actually happens. Ned, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday.